Welcome to Blasted or Stash It, episode 146. Yay! We're looking at the comics of May 22nd, 2019. It's the first time you've ever been to our show. Blasted or Stash It. Blast It is a book we absolutely hate. It's garbage. We won't keep it. Stash It. We'll put it in a long box. Love forever, except for Drew, which he may sell it. I don't know. But this week we only have Joe and myself because we have a kind of a issue with schedule. So my schedule is not allowing me to be live on Sunday nights. So we're going to record and premiere at 7 tonight. Next week we may be live again, though, depending on what my schedule does. It's getting kind of weird now because of short-staffed and all that fun stuff. But we'll go ahead and get into it. And we'll start with Joe, I guess, and your first book for the week for May 22nd.
First book of the week. Do we start off strong and powerful, or do we just go ahead and blast something right up out of the cage? I don't know. Let's see what we got here. I'm looking for a particular book. I'm going to go ahead and talk about my pick of the week because, man, I'm just loving it. It's a powerful, strong story. That's War of the Realms, The Punisher. If you're not reading this, with all the tie-ins and all the mess that's going on, this one is staying on track, and I really like this. So if you remember briefly, when last time I mentioned the story, the Punisher grabs some prisoners, got to take them through a tunnel to get over to Jersey because they're making the way for a bunch of people out of a hospital. And in this one, we find out just how absolutism Punisher is towards just about anybody, really. He doesn't really like these criminals, but he needs their help. He gives them melee weapons. They go through there. He even sacrifices one of the prisoners and shoots another one in the head. This is ridiculous because, bitch wants to talk back. So, instead of backhanding him, he blows him away. And the other prisoners, we start seeing the conflict when you have this type of belief or this absolutism in its extreme. And finally, the prisoners had enough of his crap, so they slug him out. And now the Punisher's in trouble, and they got monsters coming through the tunnel. It is a nightmare. This has just been great reading. Pick this up. Good stuff. Definitely a stash. Pick of the week.
I know in the previous guide they had a Punisher killing crew or something like that. It looks like he's wearing like an Asgardian helmet, and I'm wondering if this is coming from this story arc here.
I hope it is. That would be kind of awesome.
now though, I'm feeling better not picking up that Punisher because I did order that killing crew. I'm like, wait, am I missing a whole bunch of stuff now? I hope I'm not leading up into this, but we'll see.
Yeah, I really like what they're doing here with the mainline story, and then they're kind of explaining. Like they talked about in the mainline story, the other teams going other places, and now they're going to go back and even in these issues, they're going back and kind of explaining what happened there. And I'm kind of digging that, but it's still a lot of tie-ins. It's too many tie-ins. Yeah. That's why we review comic books.
Yeah. Make sure I'm on the right page here. So since I haven't read that one, I'll do one you haven't read. I think the other ones, quite a few other ones we did read together, but I'll talk about IDW's Road of Bones. So I did a little research on this. So Road of Bones is actually a road in Siberia in Russia. It's known as one of the coldest roads, and it was built during the 1930s, 1950s using prisoners and stuff like that. And the prisoners, either they died of this exposure and they just buried them in the road, or if they weren't working hard enough, the guards would shoot them in the head and bury him in the road or bury him off the side. So in this book here, there's a fallen character named Roman who's got sentenced to 25 years in this camp for telling a Stalin joke at a party. That was it. And then he ends up going to prison. One of the guards, actually, he was a chef prior to going to prison, so he has kind of double duties. He works on the road some, but he also works in the kitchen. One of the guards catches him sliding food under this fence, and they take him to the head of the prison. He's asking him why he's doing that. He says he's saving it or he's giving it to Domovic, who is a Slavic mythological creature that's supposed to protect your home and stuff like that. And so they end up getting another 10 years on top of that. And so him and two other guys decide that they're going to, this is stupid. We're going to go and break out of there. They end up getting out. A couple guards see them actually escaping. They're like, should we chase them? Like, no, they'll die out there. Just let them go. And they end up going. They have a little bit of food that Roman had been saving from the kitchen. And they're like, this is not enough. And he says, well, I thought you guys had a plan. And That's it. They're out there in the middle of they're kind of laughing and having a good time. They want to start a fire, but they know if they start a fire, they're going to be seen. They end up falling asleep, waking up to this big fire, and I'm assuming it's another mythological. Maybe it's Domovic. I don't know. They didn't really explain. Was talking about the hunger is what's going to kill you, essentially. So I'm wondering if it's going to turn into some kind of like cannibalism kind of story. You know, there's only 3 guys out there, not a whole lot of food in the middle of this winter wasteland, essentially. So this is only a 4-issue miniseries. I think I'd pick up issues 3 through 4 too, or 2 through 4, just to check out, see how the story's going to turn out. So it wasn't too bad. It's stash.
I gotta go find it. I have to find it now. That was like something right up my alley. Well, I don't know what we both read stuff, and I did not take notes. So I'll go ahead and go into. You read Detective, right?
Yeah, I read Detective. I didn't take any notes on it, but I read it. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Detective Comics number 1004. If you don't know, it's a connecting variant cover with the last issue, number 1003. I didn't much care for this one. I don't think comic books should mimic reality in any way. Let me start off by saying that. But then again, if you're going to take something outside the ordinary, then it has to be well outside the purview of somebody's actual knowledge. You know, like cosmic stuff or the mystic realm or things along those lines, right? There's no way you're going to convince me that you let a child grow up in an insane asylum and hang out with criminals. I'm sorry. I know that sounds horrible. Second of all, some of the villains that helped this lady squeeze out this kid, no. There's no way Joker would have been cool with that. There's no way Clayface would have. Like, these are some of the most sadistic criminals we have in here, and they care about this lady because she showed kindness. Well, we're talking about villains that kill people on a regular basis with no whim whatsoever, so I'm not buying that either. The mysterious person that kills the mother who picked up a batarang or something and threw it. I'm sure that will turn into something, yada, yada, yada. I'm going to ignore this issue and pretend that it never happened and move on to the storyline. So I'm not going to blast the whole entire thing. But I don't know. I didn't play the video game, so I don't know if this is the same character in the video game. Maybe somebody can clarify that for me in the chat. I'll be watching tonight. I don't know, but I don't know what it is with Bendis when he does this. Like, he'll have like the last issue was so good. It was decently good. Yeah. And then, Tomasi. That's right. I'm sorry. Tomasi, he wrote the last issue. He writes this issue. And it's almost like 2 different writers. Like, I don't get it. The context is not the same. The dialogue is completely different now. But I'm just, I don't know. I don't know why they felt that this backstory for this particular character was necessary. Again, I don't know if this fits in the realm of the video game, and maybe he's just playing off of that. I don't know. That's ignorance on my part. I'll accept it. But didn't much care for this issue. I'm not. No, it's a blast.
Yeah, I said I didn't take any notes on it, but yeah, I do remember some specific key parts. You know, when she is giving birth, there's like a riot. And all these villains are protecting her from these other inmates and stuff, which, like you said, you got Joker, you got Clayface. These people are they're not good guys. They'll kill somebody just to kill somebody. So I don't know why they would have a little bit of compassion for this woman who's shown compassion towards them. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. And any logical person, like you said, who would allow their kid to sit outside the window and have Joker read them a story? I was like, or especially if they're like a psychotherapist or like that, they should know that this guy's totally insane, and I don't want that person to have any influence over my child at all. Yeah, apparently, maybe he's like a Harley Quinn kind of person where he's who knows. Yeah, this was a little weird. I'm gonna be honest too, though. I haven't been reading Detective Comics. I think when Tomasi first came on, issue 997, I think, or right around there, which was really good. I love Tomasi's Super Son stuff. This does not seem to have the action in it like some of the other Tomasi books had. So I wish I would have either started sooner or not read this one at all. So unfortunately, it's a blast for me. But I don't think that the Arkham Knight is a different person in the video games. I'm not 100% sure, though. I think it's a guy in the video games, but Again, I could be wrong as well. I guess I'll go with my next one. Where's my notes? Where's my notes? Here my notes are. Let's go with Middle West.
Oh, good choice. Yeah, Middle West.
I'm all over the fence. It's a roller coaster for me with this book. I really loved it, and it kind of started to dive down. Last issue really picked back up, and this time it kind of dived down a little bit more for me. At the end of the last issue, we find Abel finally found like his family, the place where he kind of fit in with the circus, and he's starting to feel normal and have those everyday life things until his emotions were brought out, and now he's in the threatening of destroying that family, that one place he found stability in. And now he's a raging tornado at the end of the last issue. This issue, he's actually destroying the circus, threatening everybody he'd known. But to backpedal a little bit, there's a backstory to this. It shows he's a little shithead when he's a kid. His mom's saying, "Hey, dinner time. I don't want dinner. I want snack." "No, you can have snack after it." "No, dinner time now." "All right, no, snack now." And he just destroying dinner and everything that. So he's not this innocent little kid who we thought he was. And then it jumps back into him at current times, this raging tornado. The wizard from I think it's his second issue, ends up showing up and ends up dissipating his power. And so now he's back to being able, and he realizes what he had done. He realized he had destroyed the circus, hurt all these people. Maggie, who is the owner of the circus, says, "Hey, we can't have you here. Yes, we want to accept everybody, but I can't at the expense of, one person over multiple people." So he ends up taking off into the forest. Fox soon follows after him, and then the realization that the markings on his chest are getting bigger, and I don't know if that means it's going to get more aggressive, more easily transform into this tornado monster. We don't know. So I don't know. I felt like last issue had this great ending to it, and this one kind of petered out a little bit more. They're showing his dad, I guess the cover of issue 8, maybe him and his dad might finally have a face-to-face and maybe be able to hash out reasonings and understandings why he has this as well. So, Joe?
So, yeah, this is just a great story. I don't mind this one slowing down a little bit. I kind of appreciate it because we know we're getting the build-up now, right? We're following a traditional hero's arc here. The hero wants something. He has to leave to get it. He finds it first in the old man with answers, decides that that's not the way. Then he's with this traveling circus. And the traveling circus first back him off and then accept him. So we get that. And now they're pushing him away because he's dangerous. So now we got that aspect of it. And really the entire story from issue 1 to now is nothing more than rage. Everybody suffers from rage to some degree or another, whether you do it privately, internally, or whatever. The entire thing is nothing but rage and the effects of it on the people around us, whether it's internal or external. So I like that aspect of it. In this one, obviously, the rage went from internal to an external in the last issue. In this one, it's gone back into an internal, making it the tattoo thing spread on him. I think that's very interesting. I really like the heart that's being put into this and the felt. I don't mind a little bit of a slower thing to give us more perspective on the humanism of it. I think that's interesting. My only thing is with everything being so high level and high deep that they're just, when they come to that last issue, they'll just shortcut it at that point. That's the only thing I'm really scared of in this. Mm-hmm. I am interested more about the dad and his backstory, of course. And again, we found out that he was, I'm not going to say he was a little shit. I'm going to say he was a typical kid throwing a temper tantrum. But there was the rage still. He's flipping over a plate. He wants to be a warrior. And, he's a kid. So it was interesting seeing that aspect of him as well. So all in all, I still say it's a stash. I'm definitely going to continue reading it. Just because the underlying notes of it I find very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I'll still pick it up because it's still great. I love the art in there. It's kind of that cartoony Jim Henson kind of art. I guess the Jim Henson kind of story too, as well. So I'll definitely continue to pick it up. I just, as it's been a roller coaster for me. It's Before we jump into our next book, I'll give a brief talk on our Patreon and some of the stuff that we do there. We have a big Patreon book of the month. Last month was Captain America 25, the first time that Falcon gets Cap's shield, and that went out to Comic Misexplained, which I gotta get that in the mail still. But that was the big book of the month. This month we're still looking for the book. I'll let you know what it is. But if you are a Patreon member, $1 gets you one entry into that book, as well as the Mighty Mighty LJ cover of the week. And the 4 covers this week were Justice League Dark. That's that Clayton Crane cover. Ooh. The Batgirl 25 Middleton cover.
Nice.
Venom 14 Battle Lines, and then the Avengers 19. So I have to write them on the back because, like you said, those battle lines don't say anything on the front. I usually write them on the back.
You lose them quick.
And the cover of the week went to Batgirl 35. So we'll end up announcing the winner on that on our Facebook page and Twitter. So definitely go check out our Patreon. I have some other options on there too. We have $1, $2, $3 tiers. $1 1 entry, two entry, three. You know how it goes. And I also have an entry where you can get a shirt. You can buy a shirt on there, other stuff, as well as, like I said, the Mighty Mighty LJ book of the week. So we're giving out 5 books a month, 1 big book, and then 3 or 4 regular books. So definitely go check out our Patreon. And we'll jump back in with Joe in your next book.
Oh, what do we want to talk about? Let's talk about Venom 14 since you held it up. Let's tell everybody about that book. First off, sweet cover. I'm usually not a huge fan of covers that have nothing to do with the story. But, I mean, seriously, these battle line covers, how much more detailed can they possibly be? I like this story probably more than I've liked most other Venom stories. Because what we find out in this story is that there is a significant difference between the Wishing Stone suit, Venom suit that he's wearing, and the actual symbiote. This thing apparently feeds and draws rage out of him and wants more rage. A lot of rage this week in stories, but it's very significant in it. And of course, it's a story of regret, because as we go through this, Eddie Brock is constantly going over the regrets. And I think anybody can relate to that kind of story. You think about something, you're like, oh my God, why didn't I ask that girl out? Or why did I ask that? Whatever the situation is, and kind of builds up emotion in you. That's kind of what we're dealing with in this. But awesomely, we find out, and I had to say awesomely. I know it's not a word, but there's no other way to describe it. Jack-o'-lantern's in it. Now, Jack-o'-lantern's always been kind of a hinky character to me. I always thought it was kind of a joke. But in this, we actually find out he's kind of badass, like in this one in particular. And fire is his thing. He must set things on fire. And then also the transformation between the wishing suit of Venom to that Asgardian armor that he ended up wearing at the end. Can't really find any meaning why they would do that. It doesn't really explain why that's happening, but I just liked it because, one, it looks cool, and 2, we got some more cool stuff happening. And of course, this is all War of the Realms tie-in as well, because everything in Marvel right now is, which is fine. But oh my God, this has just been epically awesome. But we also get a tender bit of Eddie Brock still. The reason why he's building all this rage and doing all this is because now he's taken the step from being the big brother of Dylan to actually playing the role of the father for Dylan, which now he has to protect Dylan. And we kind of get it to where at the end of it, we kind of have this dragon blowing fire everywhere, and it's getting kind of close to Dylan. And, Venom or Eddie Brock or Wishing Stone, I'm not even sure what to call him at this point, has to kind of step up and stop that. It's been awesome. Favorite line in the whole thing, the kid's cracking open an MRE, and he holds up an MRE, meals ready to eat. It's a packaged meal. If you don't know what they are, it's what he's eating in the book. And he holds up the cracker from it. And that's a huge significance, because even in the military, when we held up the cracker, we were like, seriously, we got to eat these? Because it's basically cardboard. So that kind of, just on a personal note, just kind of brought up a good memory in myself. So yeah, I really like this Venom story. I think it's truly unique from other Venom stories out there. Definitely jump on board with this. I can't imagine anybody having a problem with it. It's good stuff. stash.
Yeah, tons of MRE. I did a video on my personal channel where I bought some MREs and all my family members tried them. With the, like the beef stew, the peanut butter. I can't remember the whole list, but we had a that was my daughter's friend from England. She was over and she actually participated as well. So that was kind of cool thing. Apparently, I did not read number 13 because I jumped into this. I'm like, what the hell's going on? I was a little lost. I still need to go back and read it, but this was still a great issue. I love this issue because he talked about how this new suit, he needed anger in order to keep it functioning and moving forward. And every time he stopped, he goes, I can't get too far from Dylan. And the suit would almost kind of reject it, essentially, saying, no, we don't want to think about that. We want to think about anger. We want to think about moving forward and destruction and death. And that's what that suit's feeding off of. And so he needs to find that rage. He starts thinking back. He thinks to Roxxon. He thinks back into his dad beating the crap out of him. He thinks back to SpiderMan beating him. He's trying to get all these images from times past where it's just gets the anger built up. He's also, although, trying to maintain a balance too, because if he doesn't get angry enough, he feels too slow and sluggish. But he's also afraid that if he lets it go, he doesn't know what he's going to become either, because he feels the suit so full of rage. Yeah, the jack-o'-lantern attacks him, leads him on a chase, essentially, so going through town. And then, apparently, this new suit, he can grow super tall because he's attacked by frost giants, and he gets so angry, he grows so tall, and he ends up dispatching the frost giants fairly easily. And then, yeah, he feels like the suit's kind of corrupting him. He doesn't want to go too far with it. And I mean, that's what his concern is, too. Yeah, Jack-o'-lantern comes and torches him and loses his suit. Like I said, that's where I was kind of lost with the wishing stone and what happened there. The Asgardian armor, is it really going to protect him versus the Venom type of suit? Yeah, who knows? But it's not living armor anymore. It's just the Asgardian. And Jack begins to, so the witch ended up telling him, hey, Venom's still connected to Dylan. That's his humanity. That's what keeps him grounded. So we need to get rid of that. So Jack-o'-lantern says, I have an idea. I'm going to start torching the city. I'm going to think big. I'm going to do this. So he ends up going all, spoilers on Game of Thrones if you haven't seen it. He starts to go all Daenerys and starts just torturing the city, trying to find Dylan, essentially. And that's how the book ends with Venom says that he needs to go a little berserk in order to really gain that anger to be able to defeat what's going on. I was concerned with this one being a tie-in to the War of the Realms. I'm like, oh god, this is just gonna suck. But this is actually a really good issue. I actually enjoy this a lot. Not my pick of the week, but definitely up there for sure. Let's see here. Let me jump. We're running through these quick here. Let's see what else I got. I don't want to talk about that yet. I don't think I have good notes on the Goon either because I couldn't find it, but I can talk about the Goon. This was I think this was my pick of the week. I love Eric Powell's art. I love his writing. On a personal level, he's a little too political for me, but I can look past that and look at his art and look at his storytelling and see what it is. And a great Alex Ross cardstock cover. I'm not sure which cover you got on that, Joe.
Damn.
Huh?
Damn, I got the good one.
You got the Alex Ross one?
Yeah.
So we're talking about how you pronounce the vampire dude? Nosferatu. That's it. So essentially, this is like this dumb kid. He always wants to be part of this mob when he's growing up. And they keep rejecting him, keep making fun of him. They tell him that he needs to go to this big building, big house on the hill that everybody's afraid of. Everybody says it's haunted. He has to go hang this scarf. And when he goes up and hangs that scarf, Nosferatu, whatever his name is,
we'll call him Vinny, since that's his first name.
Vinny. I'll call him Vinny. Vinny. He ends up coming out and supposed to be biting him, but he doesn't want to kill him because he hasn't had a companion for a long time. So he kills this little kid, but this kid is so violent, he ends up killing that vampire and kind of taking over. And then he ends up going back into town and start taking over the town as well as this big gangster. And then we find out in the last story, Goon's back into town. Stuff's kind of gone awry since he's been gone. You know, gangsters been moving in, extorting money and all this stuff. But now they're refusing to pay because, hey, Goon's back in town. We're not paying. And so in order to send a message, this Vinny guy ends up killing all these people and hanging them on the power lines. And this big fight between the Goon and Vinny take place, as well as Vinny's goons. And then what's Goon's little buddy's name? I forgot his name.
Sidekick?
Yeah, his little sidekick. They're more of a comedic kind of relief. That's what he is. Because really, I mean, he says, you can't come in. You're a vampire. I didn't invite you in. And then he shoves a pig full of dynamite in their hands, and it blows up almost like a Looney Tunes kind of character. You know, so that's definitely the sidekick on it. But I mean, I just love this era of stuff. This Depression era. I talked about it before in the last one. Not Goomba, but like just a brawler, a bruiser kind of guy. And I just absolutely love this. And the art's great. So it's a definite stat. It's my pick of the week for Goon, number 2.
Yeah, I have to agree. Goon's a good read. The artwork, so I like the artwork in it. I like where they go from the sketching to the actual color type art in it for the transition of certain things. About this is just the outrageous dialogue in it.
Mm-hmm.
Get that 20s, 30s. Yeah, you see, I'm a gangster. Smoke them, put some concrete shoes. You kind of get that kind of feel with it. And it's just really cool. And again, with the Looney Tunes type character, we get our sidekick. Yeah, he's like, yeah, you can't come in because, you know, you're going to blow up. No, you know. And then he ends up a pig stuffed with dynamite. That was just awesome. Yeah, I'm really digging this. This is just great stuff. It's great banter in it as well. And everything's about making $1. Everything's about, you know, everything's strapped to its bare bones basic in this area, in this time frame. So we kind of get that Depression era type feeling in a city. And, you know, what does that look like when you add, you know, monsters, zombies, and vampires into it? That's what you ultimately get here. It's really a cool read. Beautiful coloring in it. Just great artwork. And there's always like a little homage to a horror, like Nosferatu was the first vampire movie. You know, that was the significance of that particular character. So that's pretty cool. Hey, look, there's trouble.
That comic book sucks.
I was wondering what was going on. All of a sudden, the screen goes black, and there's Mike with a little mic on his chest. Oh my goodness!
What's up, buddy?
Working hard.
Yeah, well, the Goon definitely it does pull me into that story. It pulls me into that Depression era stuff, you know, and it makes me feel like I'm there. Like I said, it's nice, kind of cool having that, adding that horror vibe on top of everything else. You know, as if life wasn't hard enough during that time. Let's deal with zombies and vampires. You know.
Dave,
well, Mike's on a break. Mike, you want to talk about a comic book you read real quick before you got to go back in?
I have my official awkward question for Dave, though.
Oh, okay. Hit it.
Dave.
Yeah.
Have you ever been hitting a nipple with a peanut?
No, I've had my nipple crushed by 2 blocks of cheese, though.
Nice.
That was a thing one night when we went out to eat. Hitting people in the nipple with a peanut.
Was it? I don't remember that.
No. When me and Mike went out there.
Oh, okay.
We went to a place that had peanuts, and it was a thing. It was a thing.
You're all choppy now, Mike. I mean, most of the time your internet's pretty good when you're out and about. Not right now.
I don't know what it is.
It's life.
Do you have a pick of the week, Mike, since we got you here?
I do have a pick of the week.
What's your pick of the week?
I haven't read that much, but I love the Goon number 2. That would have to be my pick of the week.
Yeah.
We were just talking about that.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that I'm digging the Goon. Love the art, love the story, love the Nosferatu character.
Nosferatu.
How about a stinker of the week, a turd of the week? Do you have one of those?
Yeah, but I left it in the store about 10 minutes ago.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I had Taco Bell.
What was the title of it?
It was an indie book. I know that.
Ronin Ragdolls? Radically Ronin Ragdolls?
No.
I know you didn't take Faithless to work with you.
God, I know, but it's hot out here.
Mike and his Kroger uniform. They're looking for you, Mike.
The Krog.
I'm on light duty, so.
Notice he's hiding around a corner.
I know.
Up against the wall. They try to make his great escape. All right, next comic book.
Yeah, go for your next book.
All right, let's see what we got here. I can't remember everything that you read, if we can both talk about it or not.
The other ones that I read were Justice League Dark and then Radically Rearranged Ronin Ragdolls.
Let's talk about Justice League Dark. So, Justice League Dark number 11 could not get the variant cover for this. It's the only variant cover I have not gotten yet. That kind of makes me mad. So now we find out we have the Lords of Order, and they're going to make, I'm going to butcher the name, I want to say Mar, the land of the magical.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So they're going to make that Joker disappear, and it is gone. Everybody fades away Thanos snap style, right? Right. So now we got our heroes, and now they have to make a decision if they're going to go against the Lords of Order. And we have Zatanna and Wonder Woman. They're meeting up with Mordru, and they're going to become the Lords of Chaos. For some reason, that's a thing. It was not mentioned in any other continuity other than this issue. I went back and looked. So this issue is kind of confusing. I'm not really sure what they're trying to do or make out of this. See you later, Mikey. I didn't get any of the dialogue with Mordru, why 1 minute he's even in the Hall of Justice with his magical building, but he doesn't really want to help anybody, but then he does. And it's an out of all the Justice League Darks, this is the most awkward reading one that I've read yet. With that said, technically we get a first appearance of the Lords of Chaos. And I don't like them at all. I think it's ugly. I don't know what the hell they're thinking there. So all in all, the only reason why I would even stash this issue is just because, first off, Mordo is a kind of a cool villain. Like, he does some crazy stuff in it. We do see the supposed death, I guess, of the Blue Devil. Kind of got that going on. I don't know. It's just all in all, I'm not totally into this particular issue, but I like the story, if that makes any sense. So soft stash at this point.
Yeah, I had to go back and read it twice just to kind of get an understanding of what and the second time it kind of a little bit more clicked with me than I think the first time I read it, I was really tired. It was late at night. I read it the next day. He talks about Mordru talks about different ways of magic. The Order, which he talks about, asks the universe politely and uses books and spells and stuff like that. And then you have Chaos, which is no spells, no sigils. You take what you want. If the universe recoils in horror, you hit it right back again. So I thought that was kind of a cool thing, talking about the two different ways of magic. But yeah, he was kind of a confusing character. He had this little hidden bar tavern in the middle of the Hall of Justice, and they just say, "Oh, yeah, it's secret. Let's just go in there." And there he is, And he talks about the ruby is a ruby of life. Yeah, ruby of life is the first magical artifact, but he just leaves it there for them to use, saying, "I've left just enough energy for you to defeat what you're going to do, and I'm not helping though. But here you go."
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and their designs of the Lords of Chaos dude. I guess I want more of a sexy Lords of Chaos. So you got Zatanna, you got Wonder Woman there. You don't need
even
to turn
if they
them
did
ugly.
them, they were all scratched up and sketchy, kind of chaotic looking. That would have been something, but instead we got fake Cyclops and fake Moon Knight. Like, legitimately, what they look like.
The other part I thought was funny in this book is at the very, welcome to the Hall of Justice, and this is like this tourist thing and people going through those hot girl statue, and here's Cyborg. I'm like, dude, what the hell? You might see Batman come through. I thought that was just kind of a hokey thing. I thought, because the Hall of Justice to me is supposed to be like this very serious thing. It's not meant to be a tourist attraction, but I guess they want to portray it as that in this issue. But yeah, this is Justice League Dark's been one of my favorite DC titles. It's always one I look forward to reading. But yeah, this one was a little confusing. Had to read it twice. It had a callback to a few issues. Mike's back.
I'm back.
A little better internet.
No, same shit. I need a grenade launcher.
I don't have a grenade launcher. I'm sorry, and that might be illegal. Joe might be able to find one for you.
I'm gonna blow this place up.
Oh, if that place actually blows up now,
Let's not do that.
Now let's just hope somebody doesn't actually blow it up or burn it down, because
or do anything there, because now we'll all be questioned.
Yeah.
Good job, Mikey.
Thank you for making me an accessory, Mike. I appreciate that.
You're my accessory.
Yeah, I know. Oh, you're a big black one.
What are we reviewing now?
We just got done with Justice League Dark.
That book sucks.
What? Why does this suck?
I didn't read it, that's why.
Oh, that's why. I gotta find my other notes here. Okay. Okay, I guess I'll jump into this is a one shot apparently. So I was doing a little more research on these two books that go together. That's Drawing Blood, a story behind the stories, and then Radically Rearranged Ronin Ragdolls. So this one is a one shot. This is the one and done, as far as I know. And essentially, I say it connects to Drawing Blood because that's the character. This is the book that he creates in Drawing Blood. So it's almost like is it Eastman? Almost like a retelling kind of his story. He said, no, I never was in a gunfight, but this is kind of some of the stuff he dealt with. I mean, he had TMNT when he was younger. It was a big hit that blew up, and I don't think he really had much after that. And then I think he got rid of the rights, and I think he kind of had some little regret behind it now. And this is kind of this is his essentially TMNT from this character, which Shane Bookman's the main character in Drawing Blood. And this one, there are tons of comic different references, and you got Steranko, you got Gamma Rays, you got Kirby. With great might comes the obligation to do what's right. So you have three characters who are cats: Tezuka, Omato, and Mizaki.
God bless you.
Thank you. So they're trying to find. It's very TMNT, of course. I mean, it's very inspired by that. I don't know. This one has little meat and potatoes in it for Mike. Has a naked woman in there, and that's all about Mike right there. He's hooking up with his ex.
Can I see it?
I'm not going to show it on here. I can't show it on here. We'll get banned. Let me see if I can.
First time.
So yeah, he talks about here how he drew drew the comic. He was famous for that, but now he's trying to write a Broadway play. It's not working out, and his friend, his name's Beastly, that's his nickname, is trying to convince him, dude, don't do this crap. This is why you name me Beastly and not Saintly, is because I just tell you the truth. I don't tell you what you want to hear. I tell you the truth and try to get you motivated into what you should do. There you go, Mike. Oh, I can't see it. There you go, little booby.
I like boobies.
I know. So at the end of the book, he's trying to rewrite, but his His former business partner or business manager was I don't know if they had a bookie. I think it's what it was, and so he owes a whole lot of money. So now that goes back on to the Shane Bookman and trying to take care of the debt for that. How much I want to support like Eastman and stuff like that, you know, especially I feel like a creator who had come out and had a big thing. I mean, such a pop culture influence on all of us, especially 80s and 90s kids. But I don't know. I would pick this up on $1, Ben. I don't think I'd pick these up, unfortunately. Sorry. Joe, on your Radically Ronin Ragdolls, whatever it is. Ronin.
Yeah. Funny story. Did not need to pay the cover price on this. This is going to end up being a $1 Ben book. Yes, they did a lot of kind of parody towards how superheroes are made. Apparently, these kittens went through an entire batch of gamma and bites and everything that makes a superhero. They kind of went through all that. The art in it's pretty cool, actually. I did enjoy that. The story's nothing overly top special. It's basically a mirror of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Just instead of being an April O'Neil, it's some kid who finally speaks at the end.
Yeah. Little tiny Tim.
I mean, it was funny. There was some great banter between them. You got the one that's tough, you got the one that's a leader, and you got the one that's smart. That's there. It's a typical story, and it's a parody. It's just making light of its predecessor is all that it's doing, which is cool. There were some parts in there I actually enjoyed and laughed. But as far as, I'll stash it. It'll go in the back of a box someplace. It's that comic book that you'll eventually forget about.
We are live right now.
And then in like 4 years, it will pop up on Comic Tom 101 as 150.
Yeah, but because of the old guy right here, he has a schedule change at work. They have to record it right now and premiere it.
He knows we're recording right now.
Old guy, you're older than I am, Mike.
Yes, but I'm far sexier.
I don't know about that. What's your next book, Joe? After that, I'm out of books.
Another stash this week. I'll just give a quick review of Freedom Fighters. This is number 6. Man, this is all about America and the Elseworld. We have Overman. He's back. If you don't know, Overman is kind of like what would have happened if Superman landed in Nazi Germany during that time and the Nazis raised him, right? So it's Superman in that category. But we find out that the one that's in this book that's chasing down Uncle Sam and all the freedom fighters is actually a cyborg. So they're kind of able to somewhat actually battle him. The real Overman shot up into space and left. Man, this thing is just all kinds of just patriotic. It's just dripping with America all through it, and I've been loving it. I'll get this scene right here tattooed on my back. I'm not even kidding. I looked at the sales of this book, and they're like super low, and I'm like, there's no way. Like, you're just not marketing it correctly. This is classic comic book, classic storytelling in that kind of late 80s, early 90s, where a lot of stuff is going on, negative spaces being used, people are being slammed, they're overpowered. It's just a good story, and I've been enjoying every bit of it. I go get it, but you got to get 1 through 6, otherwise it's not going to make any sense. So yeah, hard stash there.
Yeah, I read that first Freedom Fighters, and I never read really any of the older stuff. It was one that I probably would pick up, but it's like I've already picked up so much other crap that it's hard to say is it good enough for me to keep on my pull list with everything else I have to buy.
Well, that's just because you're un-American.
I'm not patriotic.
Strangling.
Speaking of un-American, are you moving to Virginia or what?
No, not moving to Virginia.
I understand. You got a problem with good places to live.
I got a good job here, even though I tangle with Sasquatch every now and
then. and choke raccoons and shit.
Choke raccoons.
I'm not even gonna get. Never mind. I'm not even gonna go there. Other books that I picked up this week. I think I'm just picking these up, and then I'll end up reading them as when I get them. I think there's only 5 or 6 issues. I must be 6 because this is number 5. Martian Manhunter. So I'm waiting to get all 6 of those to read that miniseries. I think this is. I think I should have started picking up on this a little bit sooner, but this is part of Leviathan Rising, the Action Comics 1011. I don't know. I said maybe this is part 5. Maybe I should have started on part 1 with Leviathan, because I dropped Action Comics after 1000.
I've been reading those. Honestly, the actual event happens after. Will be happening here soon in June. So if you pick it up there, you'll be okay. But this is kind of like the precursor of what Leviathan's doing, which is kind of cool. I recommend it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike's between 2 ferns now. I don't know what he's doing.
I was peeing.
I wouldn't doubt it. Elvira, Mr. the Dark's spring special. I think this is the same cover that came out in October. So really, the only reason I bought this was just for the cover, because I love Elvira. And so now I have 2 of them. But Joe, I know you read Elvira spring special. What did you think of? Was it Cassandra Peterson worthy?
So here's what they're doing. This is what's weird, right? They swiped the cover. It is the same cover from October. And they also partially swiped the story, because the storyline with the shape of Elvira, where she's making the movie with the swamp thing, with the swamp monster and all that, that's pretty much what the story is in here, because somebody can raise zombies. This is a complete just meshing of 2 books that are already made out there, which kind of upsets me, because you stole my money as far as I'm concerned. you just took it. So in protest, I will set this on fire tonight. So, yeah.
What I don't like about the Elvira run, I said I usually don't read them. I'm just a big fan of Elvira. The covers aren't really on. They say, hey, this cover's coming out this week, and it's not that cover.
Right.
So
They've been flopping that around all kinds of.
Yeah. So I have a few issues that I'm like, wait a minute, this was supposed to be out 2 weeks or 2 months ago. This is the cover now. I'm a little lost on what it is.
It's a hot.
And the other book that I picked up, and it was mainly the Suspect book, just because it has the first appearance in it. I have not read it. I have the first one, but that's New Agents of Atlas. That's War of the Realms tie-in. That's number 2. So I bought that one to purely the Spec book, because I'm not really reading any of the other tie-ins at all for that. What else you got this week? Anything else you want to talk about in your stack?
We'll run through it real quick, and if anything pops up with any questions, we can.
No, I don't.
I'll start with my indie titles.
Okay.
Assassination Nation. This is a good story. Again, I keep saying this. If you're a fan of movies like Snatch, Lock, Stock, and Smoking Barrels, or
I like Snatch.
Yeah, like those kind of things, those kind of movies. This is definitely a book for you. You'll enjoy this. There's a lot of character in it. And the assassins are getting picked off left and right on that. And we're going to find out soon who's responsible for it all. The Warning, this book, I've been highly praising this book. This issue kind of dropped off the ball for me. We find out more about the aliens and find out that there's actually like a plan behind what they're doing. But then again, the dialogue and the narrative in this is so short, it doesn't really make it clear. Kind of got weird. Welcome back, Mike. Next, we got Faithless. This is the dirty cover. I'll flash that. This book is nothing but shock and awe. There's no real story going on here. It's just a bunch of edgy things crammed into 28 pages. And ta-da. So I'm dropping this. That's a blast because I can see boobs. I don't need to see them in a comic book. Let's see. We're moving on to DC Dial H for Hero, or this one, Dial V. This has been kind of okay. Some of the characters they come up with are kind of interesting, but other than that, Wonder Comics has not been able to make anything that can sustain and last. Mike, you got something to say?
What?
Oh, I thought you wanted to say something.
I do, but it's inappropriate.
It's amazing how much nicer you are at work.
Oh, no, please.
Action Comics number 1011. Hey, I've been enjoying the Leviathan story, and I can't wait for the event. This has been kind of interesting. Although, again, we have these. Apparently, this is the week of filler issues, because that's pretty much what we got here. But we do know all the agents of every major secret organization out there, even though Leviathan has destroyed them and Lois Lane is debating blasting that information out there. That's going to be kind of weird. As Guardians of the Galaxy, if this doesn't pick up, I'm going to drop it. Give me some more of that frog bashing people's skulls in, because this one kind of died on me. Great cover, though. Art's been okay in it. Uncanny X-Men War of the Realm. This was a garbage book. I don't even want to talk about it. It was horrible. There was nothing in it whatsoever, just stupidity. Some Sabretooth action was in there. That was pretty cool. That's about it. Not worth the buy. Strike Force, Land of the Giants. This we picked up from War of the Realms, where they went to go save Thor from the Land of the Giants. And we see them all go berserker, and we find out what the stupid helmet is that Spider-Man keeps wearing on these covers. It's so he can actually talk to the horses that fly. The Pegasus. I think the Pegasus, I'm not sure if that's a species or a name at that point. I'm not really sure. But he can talk to the horses now, and come to find out they're kind of super smart, and like that's their thing. Let's see, more War of the Realms goodness. We got Journey into Mystery. I hate this storyline, but this one got me because they had a ton of Golden Age characters in this one. Phantom Rider, who's there on the front, Apache Kid, the Two Gun Kid, Cody, just tons of Wild Western Golden Age goodness packed in here. I did like seeing those characters in a more modern form, but I still hate this story and the characters in it. Avengers, War of the Realms, the Mighty Avengers. This is still good. I like the mainline story in this. This was pretty good. We actually had something kind of sort of interesting in this one happen. War of the Realms, Avengers. Most of this is narration from Gorilla Man and his deal. Come to find out, we get a tie-in also back from the vampire storyline, where it looks like Gorilla Man's kind of double-crossing the team. And in this, we find out more introspect from him. That was kind of interesting. But going back to the last event and trying to tie it into this event, it seems a bit much. A little too much going on there. And last but not least, this horrible story. War of the Realms, the new agents of Atlantis. I hate this story. This constant, everybody's the same because we're Asian is probably the most racist thing you can probably put in a comic book. I understand what they're trying to go with here, but it's wrong, it's incorrect. There's no changing my mind. The heroes are, at best, the copy of Magna characters. Like it reads like a Magna. But I'm just not digging this. I don't think it's... I don't know how to describe just how utterly just ridiculous this is. Now, is this issue better than the first issue? Yes, because they don't outright tell you everybody's the same in this one. And we do get some cool action, and I'm really liking the Hawaiian goddess in it. That's about it. Other than that, it's going to take something. I'm going to have to flip through issue 3 to see if I even want to buy it. That's pretty much it. And that's all I got.
Okay, some books maybe like looking out for next week. So next week, I said my schedule is going to change back again. So we'll be able to go live next Sunday night. So
make up my mind.
I know. Trust me. Like I said, we have a shortage of employees at work, and we're constantly trying to fill stuff in. So I'm kind of switching back and forth. So next Sunday, when I find out, we should be live at 7 p.m. the normal time. So it's going to be great because if Drew can get on, we got 2 of his favorite books next week. We got Heroes in Crisis and Doomsday Clock in this same freaking week. 2 of the books.
Doomsday Clock, maybe.
Maybe. Some other issues that are coming out. Superman Leviathan Rising. That's a $9.99 issue. I'm not sure if that's going to have any significance. Maybe that is the... Hopefully it's not like a prequel. Sounds like it might be just a prequel of what's coming up with Leviathan. Other issues, look out for Immortal Hulk number 18, as well as there are tons of reprints that they have for almost every single issue has fifth printing. Thanos number 2 comes out. The Hulk 181 facsimile. So if you don't have a Hulk 181, go out and grab one of those so you can put it in your stack. One of my comic stores, one of their customers remakes covers. So he remade a cover for Hulk 181 with 25-cent price, everything. I'm just like, they're like, hey, let's cut this out. I said, nah, it's bullcrap. That's not a real cover, because I knew it was in far too good a shape. The other one I'm really looking forward to is Batman Last Night on Earth #1 that comes out next week. So that's Snyder and Capullo back together again on a Batman story. Other stuff we got going on. I created a website using Wix. Not that Wix is a partner or anything, but I use Wix to create that website. That's where stuff we're going to have a blog page. We're going to have put some stuff on there for sale, a feed to our podcast, YouTube channel. So anything that you want to know outside of our show and Facebook, definitely go over to the website. Or if you just want to just read directly what we got going on, that'll be over on that website, and I'll put a link in the description below. What else we got? We got our Facebook page, we got our Twitter, of course, and Instagram. Trying to think, what else do we have? We have our Patreon, which I talked about earlier. Make sure you go enter to that. $1 a month will get you entered into the book of the month, and that's usually about a $25 book, usually. So definitely well worth the money. I mean, because that's less than a candy bar now, $1. And most candy bars are $1.25. Can you believe that crap? I remember buying a candy bar and a soda for $1.
That's why you should move to Virginia.
Oh yeah, why is that?
Not in Virginia.
Gas prices are low. Food's cheap.
Low. You can grow your own food here. Nobody gives a crap.
You can't grow Snickers.
Come to Virginia.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't think we want to. I think that'd be a different school district for my kids.
Yeah, a better one where they learn to read and write.
Oh,
yeah. Sasquatch language.
Yeah. So, I think that's it. You have any shout outs or anything, Joe? We're just at an hour long. We're just at, well, 3 of us, or 2.5. We'll call it 2.5 because Mike's halfway here.
Just real quick, everybody up at the chat room, thank you very much. I'm very appreciative that all of you stopped by. Thank you very much. Hopefully we're in the chat with you, engaging with you somewhat. Also, not only our various social media sites and stuff that Blash and Stash Dash, but each one member here also has their own channel as well. Definitely swing by and check those out. I know I got my villains contest running hot right now with some great prizes going. So definitely go check that out. And Spectacular Spider Grandpa's got a contest right now. He just hit 500 subs. Congratulations. And he has a really cool contest going on over there as well for some great prizes. Drew Manchu's always putting out good content, and Midwest Comic Guys always talking about Golden Age stuff, which I read that stuff on a regular basis. Plus our podcast that Huey does with his wife and the reading of the stories and everything. So we're constantly pushing content out for you. Definitely swing by. Let us know what you think about it, what we can do better. Comment down below. Whatever we can do, we're happy to do.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll definitely be in the chat tonight, probably too. I'll be in the park. It's probably raining tonight anyhow, so I'm not gonna be doing a whole lot, especially with that late at night. And when it's raining in the park, people are gone. People don't want to hang out in that crap. So I'll probably be in the chat, kind of chit chatting back and forth. So definitely come by and check us out. And I definitely do appreciate anybody who did come by. That's for sure. I keep, this is a little weird. I'm used to the live show. I'm not used to recording it and throwing it out later. So I still got the live show pattern in my head. So I think that's it. So whether you blast it, whether you stash it, happy reading, and we'll catch you guys next week.
Bye.